Hello. So this is my classroom management plan. I am Noah Keeter, and today we're going to be answering these basic questions. What is my setting? How will my classroom be set up and organized? What will my classroom rules and procedures be? And what will rewards and consequences look like? So to start, what's my class setting? I will be in Goldsmith Lane Elementary. It is a public school, kindergarten grade level, roughly 25 students. So how will my classroom be set up? Here I have a very simple diagram, smartboard in the middle with a carpet area right in front of the smartboard, two opposite teacher tables, good for centers. I have 5 kind of round tables with 5 seats each for each of my 25 students, a cubby section right next to the entrance so they can drop their books off immediately, and then obviously a reading corner in the top right corner of your screen there. So, how will my classroom be organized? I would like to add some things to that diagram in my head. There's a student success board that I'd like to put either on the left or right side of the smartboard. And it will, kids love to see their work being displayed. And I think that it's important for them to see the success of their hard work. Schedule on the opposite side, along with classroom jobs kind of being more toward the entrance, and then plenty of anchor charts all around the classroom. They need to be reminded of a ton of critical factors. And then obviously classroom rules also more toward the entrance of the classroom. And then this is something I observed from Ms. Aubrey's class. She is a kindergarten teacher at Auburndale Elementary, and she has a bathroom in her classroom. And I think that that is a phenomenal idea. It minimizes distraction an exceptional amount whenever you're teaching busy and distracted kindergartners. So what will my classroom rules be? I adapted this from obviously Wong and Wong's book, The First Days of School, specifically in chapter 17 on how to be an effective teacher. They say that it's really good to have no more than 3 to 5 rules in each of the general and specific categories. So I picked 3 from each. General, I love the idea of harking on honoring your teachers, honoring your friends, like your classmates, and then honoring your environment, honoring your classroom around you. Specifically, rules like raising your hand for help, using kind words and actions, and keeping your hands and feet to yourself, I think are extremely important and absolutely necessary for kindergartners to master by the time they get to first grade. So what about classroom procedures? Buckle up, there is a lot. For starters, parental and guardian communication. I would love to send out some weekly emails. We love a good alliteration. Mr. Keeter's Corner, amazing. And then I would also love to provide specific positive and negative letters and emails home. I think that those should be more available upon request, just because there's going to be so many students. Procedures for the beginning and end of the day. Beginning, I love a morning greeting, eating, and meeting. This is a good time for them to eat breakfast, for me to say hello to them at the door, and then for us to kind of go over our objectives for today. And then at the end of the day, I love a clean up and clear out mindset to just prepare for the next day. So let's continue with some more procedures. For procedures for typical teaching, I love going from whole group to centers and then kind of using carpet time in between. I think kids need to move a lot, specifically kindergartners, and that'll come more into play on the next slide. For assignment communication, for behavior, I love the idea of Class Dojo. And then for maybe more specific online assignments, I love the idea of Google Classroom. For emergencies, obviously, any emergency situation procedure will be specifically assigned by my school, but I would love to hark on the principles of focus and keeping calm and listening to adults in the meantime. So there's more. Buckle up. Like I said, for transitions, I adapted this from Dr. Gibson's classroom management lecture materials, specifically on creating some consistency in your classroom. And it's the idea of using the CPR style of transition. So about 3 minutes before you're supposed to end an assignment, you start with close. So everybody's getting everything together, then prepare. You're about to say what you're going to do next. And then once you end up moving, you're going to refocus and get back onto task. For some miscellaneous procedures, I have getting out of seats. Procedures for getting out of seats. Definitely, it's pretty much going to be impossible for kindergartners to stay inside their seats and then only get up at certain times. So I want to envelop specific times for movement within my classroom. For sharpening pencils, I need them to bring it to me. That's a very sharp thing, and I don't want them to mess up that idea. So just bring them to me. I have new pencils for them and all that kind of stuff. And then for turning homework and assignments, I'll have a turn-in tray that'll be close to the front of the classroom. And wow. For attention getters, I love the idea of 1, 2, 3 eyes on me. I think that is just such an easy and effective attention getter, so I plan on utilizing that probably most above any other attention getter. For classroom jobs, here's a list of them. Obviously, multiple students can have the same job at the same time. I'm not going to go through all of them because there's just a lot of them. And then the final slide, I'm sorry for the glitches here. The final slide is what will some rewards and consequences look like. So for class Rewards, I like the idea of a class party at the end of every quarter. If we make it there, an individual could be a student of the day. They may be able to get to pick their job, all this kind of stuff, be a teacher's helper. And then for class consequences, quiet time, silent lunch, those kinds of things where they're not able to interact with one another. It's something that none of them really like. And then obviously for individual consequences, it could be something like labs at recess. And that's it. I'm so sorry for some of the delay and some of the stuff that's moving around, but that's essentially my classroom procedures.